All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Sean Callan.
Here.
Julie Chetney.
Here.
Tom Chiappa.
Here.
David Christofoli. Here. Jim McKenzie's here. Kristen Norfleet.
Here.
And Sean Onmont.
Here.
All right, rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so there's nobody who signed up for the floor to the public. So the first matter that we have on the agenda today under Board of Education is an announcement of our 2024-2025 district-wide safety plan and code of conduct, being two guiding documents within the district and carry the level of importance that they do and how we work within the system. We're announcing these now for review for faculty, staff, administration, and public, and this will be voted on in the August 6th meeting. So we're just making this kind of known to the public that this is something we're going to act on at our next meeting. So next on the agenda would be the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Jim. Just a couple of things, most specifically related to construction projects. So as you know, we're moving right along on Phase 3B of the 2018 project. The middle school in particular is being heavily renovated. Windows, corridors, there's a lot of work being done. And we're going to work really, really hard to make sure most of that is done by the time children arrive in September. They are moving along, I think, at a good clip, but we'll have to monitor that very closely. And as our new principal comes on board in August, it'll be essential that they're communicating, connecting well with her. Our Minetto Playground is moving along in progress, so we're excited that we've got work there. So that will be up and should be up and ready to go for the start of school. So we're excited about that. We do expect that our EPC, our energy performance contract, will be approved by state ed in the coming weeks. And so we'll be moving forward with likely bid shortly thereafter and construction likely this fall. So that will absolutely be work that is going to be going on throughout the course of the 24-25 school year. That kind of work is often done second and third shifts. So it will not impact our students and or our teachers. And then our construction of our health center in Layton is underway. Demolition is done. They have started doing electrical work. We'll be doing framing later on this week. So we are currently on target for that to open right at the very beginning of the school year. So that'll be a really important piece. And then high school, summer school is off and running. Again, summer school is a little bit different than this year than we've done in previous year. There are 2 sessions, 12-day sessions. Each class is about 2 hours and 10 minutes each day. And so our hope is that we have increased attendance, increased involvement for our students so they can recover whatever credits that they may have been unsuccessful in during the school year. But we'll have a full report at the end, a conclusion of summer school to talk about areas that we saw success and maybe areas for us to take a look at for next year. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Kilmer. Next on the agenda are committee discussions. Does the audit committee have anything? No. Community Relations Committee.
Yeah, we just had our first meeting with the new board, which is the same old board, and we are actively discussing the newsletter that will come out in the latter part of August before school starts.
Okay, great, thank you. Facilities Committee?
Just that we're going to get together this Thursday, the Facilities Committee within the Board of Ed, and with Ray and I think Ian, and we're going to walk and go through some of the facilities so that we can see firsthand, you know, some of what we might want to address down the road, immediately or long term, in our planning and everything for capital projects and outlays and stuff like that. So we're going to do a little bit of a tour Thursday morning.
Great, thank you. Policy Committee.
Yep. At our last policy committee in June, we looked at a plan to do a comprehensive overhaul of all of our policies. It was, I guess the adjective I'll use is very aggressive. And we looked at it and discussed whether we thought we could accomplish it in 1 year, and decided that even if we all decided to double down, we didn't think we could do it in 1 year. And so we're going to try a semi-aggressive approach and maybe do it in 2 years. Basically, our goal is to go through every single policy and make sure they're updated, fresh, applicable, and current. And that's in addition to reacting to whatever is going on, either statewide or locally, that has to be adapted because of things that are happening. So we've established a schedule for our meetings for this next academic year, with our first meeting being on August 9th. And we will start the process of doing the total overhaul and also doing the traditional monthly updates that we've been doing all along.
Thank you. Is there a particular order in which you're looking to do this? Have you talked to that degree?
Yeah, we basically started at the beginning, was the
100.
proposal. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, and I don't know, forgive me, what the numbers are, but there's a couple policies that deal with new board member onboarding and some of our committee structures. And I know those are things we talked about multiple times in the last year. And I'm just wondering, depending upon those numbers, if we may want to throw those in as priorities, just so that we get them done this year. Just a suggestion to the committee. Visitation committee.
Nothing to report. I did not see, we haven't planned a schedule yet. We're waiting for Diane to
So
organize some of those options with the building principals, right? Okay. So
start,
nothing yet.
start in September.
fall.
October.
Yes, in the fall.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. All right, on to the consent agenda. So for the consent agenda, I would like to group items A through E, please. So if I can get a motion for items A through E. Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Is there any discussion? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next on the agenda is personnel. And so we'll start with the first two administrative items. So if I can have a motion for administrative recommendations A and B, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank you. I heard Julie first. Thank you. I know. Any discussion? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, I'd like to group C through E, if that's okay. These are our professional staff recommendations. So if there's a motion for C through E, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
And I will second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion on C through E, professional staff recommendations? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, next we have our support staff recommendations. So these are items F through J. So if I can have a motion for F through J, please. Thank you, David. Is there a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Sean. Is there any discussion on items F through J? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? Motion carries. And finally, under personnel, we have items K through N, which are our extra compensatory recommendations. So if I can get a motion for K through N, please. Thank you, Kristen. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion on items K through N, the extra compensatory recommendations? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? motion carries. Next, we have on the agenda finance. So we'll look to group the first two together, which are budget transfers, one from technology, the other one from curriculum instruction. So if we can get a motion for items A and B, please.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Sean. Is there a second? Thank you, David. Any discussion on items A and B? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then we have a lot of different agreements and contracts coming up, which I'm going to group together as C through S. S is in Sam. So if we can get a motion for items C through S, please. Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion on items C through S?
I do have one question
Yeah.
on F, which is the contract between Field Turf. And this was just, for me, I see that we have only one Program 7, which is the GMAX test. And I was wondering if we wouldn't do that multiple times throughout the year versus just the one time. It's just a question I had relative, I know the GMAX test is relative to the compression of the field and for concussions. Just that concern, I see we just have the one. It was just a question I had, whether we do that.
I think the normal protocol is once a year.
It is.
That's a typical protocol. It's not something that you would typically do multiple times a year.
Thank you.
Great, Tom. Any other discussion? Items C through S. Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, gotta go back some pages now. We're to items from the board. Do any board members have items this evening?
I'd just like to say that I go to the bookmobile probably once a week, and with the little ones, and they're doing a great job. I mean, if you ever get a chance to stop by, please do, because they do a great job there. Very entertaining.
Thanks, David.
I just wanted to commend, I know this is something I talk about occasionally, but the practice field over here with the first treatment I know we had done on it, and you can really see the difference. It's starting to come around a lot. And I know we have, I guess, another treatment should be being implemented. And then after that, I know they're going to be coming to us to look for a herbicide treatment that needs to be approved by the board. But it's looking really good. It's something simple, but it's a nice, I think I'm looking forward to kids being able to utilize it in this fall. And the other thing I just wanted to say about, as I went to the conference this weekend down in Albany, and I was both, I told Ray earlier, inspired and terrified because there were discussions about AI and how to utilize it, what to do with it. Also about chronic absenteeism. And then there was another session that I attended regarding listening to student voices to affecting change within your district, which was a great presentation with about 7 students from different levels and how they integrated with their superintendents at 2 districts and what they were doing and how they were listening, the board and the super were listening to them to affect some change. Down the road, I'd love to have a discussion, and Ray and I talked a little bit about it, about AI and how to utilize it, just to discuss it more, because it is something that's there, and it's moving very rapidly, and how we look at it is important, to see it as a tool and utilize it as a tool versus something that we look at as a negative. So that was it, and it was a great conference, so thank you much.
Thank you, Tom. Anybody else? Okay, so we do have a need for an executive session this evening for the purposes of the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation. There might be a vote needed afterwards. That will be decided in executive session. Is there a motion to move to executive, please? Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. It's closer, too. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening.